Okay, I have to confess, I love seafood. It's one of my most favorite things to order when I go out. Sometimes I like to eat it at home, but it's often difficult for a home chef like myself without a lot of experience to know how to prepare fish and seafood. So we're here with Jeff Brander, who's an expert in seafood. He ought to be. He's a corporate chef with Superior Seafood here in Grand Rapids. And Jeff, what's the first step?
The first step, like we talked about a little bit before, was really getting to know where your fish is coming from. It's kind of like equate it to buying wine or buying, meat from your local butcher. You want to get to know that person and see what they know about it, how they handle the product, but also, more importantly, where they're getting the product from and what's that chain before you get it even in your shopping cart, to the quality, how it's handled, and the other variables there.
Are there different seasons? We talk about fresh produce, and we know that at certain times of the year, maybe different things come in and out of season. Is seafood like that too? Yeah,
seafood is like that. There's so many different ways that it's fished and raised and things going on in the way with shipping. You can almost get anything anytime from a frozen state, but it's really good to know what's in season. And again, you should be able to get that information from your fish person at the store, or you can go online to like gourmetsleuth.com. Look at a calendar. If they're advertising something that's fresh, then you're definitely going to want to know if it's in season or not, or hey, I thought that was in season 2 months ago. Why is this fresh? That's the kind of stuff that you want to kind of keep an eye out for.
All right, so you have some great options here. Let's start out with shellfish.
Shellfish is one that most people are deathly afraid to cook with. So they usually end up getting the pre-cooked shrimp like what I have here. And shrimp's a great medium to cook with. I tell people, if you can cook with chicken, you can cook with shrimp and lobster and scallops and things like that. People get really confused and scared buying shrimp because there's different numbers, there's different letters, there's different terms. You see 1620s or 26, what's all this stuff mean? And it's basically just the size of the shrimp. This is a 1620 shrimp. And basically what that means is there's 16 to 20 pieces per pound.
Okay.
So the bigger the number, the smaller the shrimp.
All right, let's move over here to some fish, because you've got some different examples here. I always wonder, fresh or frozen?
Fresh or frozen is the $1 million question. I hear it all the time, even with the chefs that I deal with at Superior. And again, it really comes back to where it's coming from and how it's handled. Sometimes frozen is fresher than fresh, if that makes any sense. There's a lot of fisheries that'll freeze the product at sea right on the boat. I've got two different tilapias here. This is a fresh product, which is one of the products we're going to feature in the cooking class on March 7th. And then this is a frozen tilapia. But when you're buying a frozen fish, a couple things you want to look for. I don't know if you can see this or not, but there's a little bit of this discoloration on the outside edges.
Freezer burn, is that
Yeah, it's starting to dry out. This wasn't cryovac when it was frozen. When you're buying fresh fish like this tilapia, you should have a nice sheen to it. You can see this. It doesn't look dull and gray and milky on the top of it. And when you press it, it should be nice and firm. You see how my finger's not pushing down into it?
It's not mushy at all.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's really what you want. And again, the biggest one is the nose.
It's the nose. You want to smell it. Not too fishy.
You shouldn't smell it when you're walking up to the counter. And that's just like buying from a grocery store too. When you walk up to the seafood counter, you shouldn't be able to smell the seafood counter.
All right. Okay, so then my favorite here is salmon.
Yep, salmon's the workhorse, all-star fish for cooking because it has a lot of oil content to it. Salmon, it's wide open. You can treat it almost like steak and like beef in a lot of preparations.
Fantastic. All right, so we're talking seafood. We're talking about fresh, great preparation, some great recipes right here at the Spartan Culinary Classroom with our friends from Superior Seafood. Okay, that's the most important takeaway for me, is that in order to prepare good seafood at home, you have to start with a great product first. And that's why the folks at Spartan Stores, DNW Fresh Markets, Family Fare, they get multiple shipments every single week of fresh seafood
And
from
you were
Superior.
in there, like, just like you knew what you were doing.
Oh man, I'll tell you. And I kind of learned so many great tips along the way. The idea is, you know, for me, I really love fish. I mean, it runs the gamut. Anything from tilapia to more of a, you know, meatier and heavier fish flavor like salmon. There are people in my family that maybe don't like the heavier texture or
But all kinds of
taste.
great ways to prepare it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So remember, if you're preparing more seafood than ever before, check them out online or step into the Spartan Culinary classroom. That's some
Excellent.
ideas.
Very good. We'll be back with more.
Are you West?